Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez.
And me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
David Newman, RX Smart Gear, inventor extraordinaire. It's a big deal.
Well, I appreciate it.
How many things have you invented now? How many patents do you own?
6 patents, but that's not anything to brag about, honestly.
Why?
I have 0.
How many? Yeah, I've also 0.
Anybody could get a patent, you know.
Well,
can we
haven't.
patent? Can we patent something?
Yeah, what?
I love what Elon Musk recently said. He said that he'll never patent something again, and he said that a patent is simply a lottery ticket to a lawsuit, and he's exactly right. You spend so much money getting one, and then so much money defending it, that you kind of takes your eye off the prize a little bit. So it depends. I think in our world where we're just making simple products, I think.
Have you seen that? Have you experienced that?
Yeah. We've had several situations where there's a lot of people copycat and do different things, and if you have a patent, you're obligated to defend it. If you just ignore it, that's giving everybody a license.
Otherwise, what's the point of having it?
Yeah, exactly. So over the years, we've had a lot of instances where we have to. Luckily, nothing's ever gone to court per se. Everything gets settled, and we've always settled in our favor. But it's just it costs you money no matter what. Takes your eyes off of the prize. Now you're dealing with this thing when you're trying to move forward. So,
but it's also kind of, I don't want to say mandatory, but if you're going to make this product, you kind of need to do that, right?
It's
like a weird necessary evil.
Sometimes it really depends. Like let's put it this way: I don't think I've created anything that is so valuable that I need to protect it from the world, right? Like we've made cool things and they're helpful, and I kind of like Elon's approach. He's like, hey, if we didn't have patents, somebody else is going to go make it. Somebody else will make it better, and then everybody just gets better because you're going to you're going to build a better product, right? You get
That's
more competitive.
That's essentially what you did.
Yeah. I didn't.
You didn't create jump ropes.
Did not create jump ropes.
Why do we bring him on the show?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because he made them better.
I'll see you guys later. Yeah, that was really it. Just kind of making it better, right? Making it work better for people that can have a better experience to learn, right? That was my big thing. Was people need to have a better situation to learn, and that's what really got my focus, because it just made no sense that there's so many talented people out there that are struggling with something so basic. And nobody had really taken the time to kind of really analyze what the missing parts were, and then just kind of like organize them better, right? So between our teaching process and then the ropes that we made to accentuate the teaching process, that's all we did to create this nice package. And I got to brag. Can I brag for a sec?
Do it.
We don't brag on this show.
Well, I want to brag
we're
about.
Very humble.
I want to brag about a friend, really, but literally walking over here.
Why are you opening Tinder?
But you should swipe left on that. Yeah.
Hey, wait, why is Jason on there?
Roz, what happens in Madison between me and Dave?
So no, this is seriously, this like really warms my heart, because Jason Grubb, right, 3-time Masters champion.
Is the Masters over?
No, they're doing.
I think it's about to be over though.
Yeah, they were coming in. Yeah,
your eyesight's going.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's a big font.
Oh, is it really? Wow, it is going though. You're
That's
right.
Normal font.
Isn't it? I thought it was normal.
No,
That's normal.
That's big.
Anyway, Jason sent me this text literally as I'm walking over here. I'm like tripping over my feet just reading it, and it was the coolest thing, because Jason, he's a super talented, accomplished guy, 3-time champion. I think now 4-time, right, in the 45 to 49 division. And we met last summer, and then he was talking about, my jump rope really needs to get better. He goes, I'm proficient, I'm not efficient. And I go, great, let's get together. So we literally, he's traveling around in his RV, and he says, hey, I'm going to be at this KOA campground, and I have Wi-Fi, whatever, like, let's do a Zoom. So I did a 3-hour Zoom lesson with him, and the guy was so just like, here, I'm yours, teach me, whatever.
That's awesome.
It was just such a great dude. I'm like, great. So I took him through our whole protocol that I take everybody through. I don't care if you're a brand new person, literally just walked in off the street yesterday, never done CrossFit, never touched a jump rope. I take them through the exact same protocol that I take Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Annie Thor's daughter, Tia Toomey, all these people that I've worked with. And so I took him through it, and we'd spent time drilling it. And so he sends me this text, which was so cool, because he's like, dude, I was back warming up for this workout that had double unders in it, the master's workout, and he's like, I grabbed my 9-foot rope, which is way too long for him, and he knows it.
I was like,
he goes,
that's really long.
It's super long, yeah. And he's like, but he's comfortable with it, right? And imagine, he's won 3 CrossFit games already using that. So for him to like go on the ledge and go, I can be better, right? And he's like, so I was back in the warm-up area warming up with my old trusty 9-foot rope. He goes, it felt like shit. Like, can I say that on here?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
He's like, He goes, it felt like shit. He goes, but I was worried about being fatigued and using my shorter rope. But I grabbed my shorter rope, and he's like, and it just really felt good. And that was a big obstacle for him to like learn to relax into a position, finesse it, not force it.
Right.
Is what we always say. And he won that event by 2 seconds, and he's just like, it was because of the rope.
That's literally
awesome.
the rope, though. When you think about it, like the difference between a foot in, I don't know how many double unders they had to do, but assuming a couple hundred.
Yeah.
That's easily the 2 seconds.
Easily. And
you just won him the CrossFit game.
Well, I wouldn't go that far,
I mean,
but
is he giving you a check? Is he giving you a percentage?
But he goes, and it was likely because of my shorter rope and faster cycle speed. He
Not
goes,
likely, Jason.
Thank you so much.
It was because of David.
Right?
Let me
And
text
so,
him back. I got his number.
Right? He's
There's a lot
such
of
a
soft
cool
talk in there.
dude.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, so it's stuff like that just gets me so excited. Just that, you know, it resonates with people. They're excited. They're learning. They're, you know, and somebody like him who's so accomplished. But even just, again, beginners. Love beginners that they're like, they get to start the journey much better off than we did because I struggled like most of us did.
There were the jump rope. The first jump rope I bought in CrossFit was the wooden handle.
Oh wow!
And the white. What is it?
Like the old school, like
a white rope, like a braided rope.
Yeah, it was that, and then finally, like Buddy Lee came out with the rope.
Was that 1957 or what year was that?
It was the early 60s. But no, but then Buddy Lee came out with the rope, and by the way, that rope broke every other time you used it. So it was like
it was not a great rope.
Hey, you know what? Buddy,
either the rope or the handle.
Good dude.
He was my predecessor. He made the first quality rope really out there. Like it really was. He made a good product.
It broke.
Well, it wasn't made for CrossFit. You know, that's the thing is like one of my new trainers, I love that he came up with an analogy. He goes, you know, jump ropes are kind of like golf clubs. You have different ones for different reasons.
That's fair.
And, you know.
That's very fair.
But, yeah, Buddy made his jump rope for his style of jumping and what he likes to do, which he's the best at. And we made ours for CrossFitters, right, for functional fitness, for high-intensity, you know, constant varied movement. And that's how we use it, and it holds up to it, and that's what it's for. So.
Is he still around, Buddy Lee?
Yeah.
I mean, he's around. I don't know if he's still like on the circuit.
He's not really in the CrossFit space, I don't think. But yeah, he's out there doing his thing.
He's great. He's great at what they used to bring out the people doing jump rope.
Like
remember in California they'd bring them out?
Like the
sure did.
I don't know what to call it performers, but I don't know what else you would call
it.
They're
called so they're freestyle jumpers, and that's a funny thing, and that's what's really. I try and explain this to a lot of people, right? So they're freestyle jumpers, and we've hired a bunch of them that were, you know, teenagers, college kids, whatever, and they compete at jump rope. It's its own niche sport.
It's a sport.
They do speed stepping, right? So they got the shortest little speed wires, and that's where CrossFitters stole it from, is these skinny little speed wires, dainty little handles, and they're literally running in place.
Yeah,
fast. So fast. As many reps as they can accumulate in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and 3 minutes. That's their competition.
3 minutes.
Yeah, that's
so how many steps are they going
to
get in 3 minutes?
You know what? I don't know, but in 30 seconds, like they're doing, I think, close to a couple hundred reps, like literally running in place.
Like it's 4 or 5 per second.
It's insane. Yeah.
Who's done more for jump ropes, David Newman or Apollo Creed? Because I remember back Rocky IV came out.
Are those not the same person?
I had the Rocky IV soundtrack, living in America.
Oh, there
I'd go
you
in the little aerobics studio at Gold's Gym and just jump.
He was doing aerobics at the
time. What I love about that question or analogy is that Apollo Creed, a.k.a.
R.I.P. by the way.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah. Not Carl Weathers, but Apollo Creed. Yeah.
Well, Carl Weathers was a San Diego State Aztec grad, as am I and my wife. So, yeah, he was a San Diego State grad. I do not know him. He was way before my time, but big fan.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Rocky played a role in that, the jump rope as well. But I remember watching. I was like doing crossovers. And it's a very different now with double enders. But you know, you and I have spoken before, and perhaps we've talked about this. But tell us about your entry into the jump rope space via CrossFit.
I mean, old story, and I feel like everybody's heard it a gazillion times.
I don't think I've heard it because like most of the podcasts you've done have been.
It's just with me, yeah.
So Buddy drags me into CrossFit, kicking and screaming.
Not Buddy Lee, a different buddy.
A different buddy, yeah.
Okay.
No, a buddy of mine named Dave Stroop. Great dude.
In San Diego?
In San Diego, yeah. The guy.
That name sounds familiar.
No, he's not really around the space anymore, but he was one of the early guys. This is back in 07. Our kids went to school together. That's how we're dads, that our kids grew up together. And he found CrossFit in 07. And he's like, Dave, he goes, you got to come try this stuff with me. And he's describing it. Priorities were way out of whack, horribly out of shape.
You were out of shape?
Oh, extremely out of shape, yeah. Just, bad priorities again, focusing on business, raising kids, let myself really go to crap, Anyway, so he's like, you got to try this. And he's describing thrusters and burpees and all these things. And I'm drinking a beer, like no interest. So 6 or 7 months later, I finally all right, fine, I'll go. Went in, threw up my first day, like most guys do back in the day, right? And back then, you're trying to egg the guy on to throw up, Come on, do another rep, right?
Not good.
Not good. We don't do that anymore. No. We've matured. Anyway, yeah, so that started it. That was back in early 2008 and kept going ever since, right? So anyways, get into CrossFit and start getting into shape, drop 35 pounds.
Wow, so you were...
Yeah, I was pretty portly.
What was your career at the time?
Real estate broker.
Okay.
For 15 years, yeah. I had a real estate
that's a high-speed world, too, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, just, a lot of golf, a lot of, drinking alcohol and eating bad food.
It's like on call all the time with clients.
Yeah. But, again, you can do any profession and live a healthy life, and I just had really horrible priorities and didn't have the right mentors probably in place at the time. So, anyway... my wife and I used to coach gymnastics. We met in college at San Diego State, and we were both gymnastic coaches. They had a club program, not collegiate. The collegiate program had gone away back in the 70s, but they maintained a club program on the campus. I was finishing my undergrad degree. She was a student as well, but we coached competitive gymnastics together. I was never a high-level gymnast, but I was okay. So once I got into CrossFit, a lot of things came pretty easy, fairly athletic, not double unders. It was just the weirdest thing. And that's what was so frustrating. It's like, hey, I should be able to get these. And, nobody really had a succinct way to say, oh, do this, then this, then this. Repeat, then move on, right? And that's in gymnastics, that's what you do.
Right.
Everything is so...
Drill it.
And micromanaged, right? You learn A before you go to B. Perfect A. Now go to B, perfect B. B falters, go back to A, right? And that's how we taught kids, and it's
gymnastics is very rigid in that format, which is like there's a go no go criteria involved with a lot of stuff in gymnastics.
Yeah, in a good program. I mean, you'll see some where they're kind of cowboys. They'll just flip kids around and stuff. But so progression was king. And with jump rope, with the snatch and with all the other skills, there were so many progressions that you could practice and train and learn these skills in increments, as you should, right, at slower speeds. But double unders, there wasn't. There were tons. Obviously, Buddy Lee was out there. We looked for whatever we could find. I did. What's out there that can teach me? And everything was kind of just hodgepodgey. Hey, try this, do that, do this. But nothing really lined up for me as a progression, and so I just started figuring it out for myself, right? I used my kind of gymnastics.
Do it. Go talk to him.
Kind of a coach's analytical view of okay, what does the movement consist of, right? What are ideal biomechanics? How should the body move efficiently, right? Get the most productivity with the least amount of output or effort. How should the rope fit the body? How would that rope react to the different input you give it? And so that slowly just laid the building blocks for, what we now call the RX method and how we developed the rope, which was we didn't develop the first cable rope, but CrossFitters after they jumped off Buddy Lee's rope, people wanted to go right to a speed rope. And that's those kids that were doing the running in place super fast.
Which really isn't ideal for double unders probably either.
If you know how to jump, they're great for it's basically cheating, right? If you know how to jump rope, they're great. And we often tell people in our workshops, if you're competing, use it. Learn how to use it. It's a tool in your tool bag. It's a skill. Keep it sharp. And if you're competing, or if you're using it to work on something specific, right? I want to try and get my 100 double under time down as fast as possible.
Right.
Under fatigue.
This is a very specific outcome I'm looking for.
Sure, right. But most people don't. Most people are like, oh, that's what I should use to make the workout easier so that when I go do my chest to bars and my burpees, I'm not as tired. Right? That's the CrossFitter mentality that was really going the wrong way. And I stressed over and over and over, like, no, we jump rope in training to increase our stamina, increase our capacity. So you shouldn't make it easier. Don't reduce the stimulus. If anything, go the opposite way. You should always jump heavier. And that's what we tell people in our workshops. Listen, jump as heavy as you can with the jump rope. Use the heaviest jump rope you can, the shortest jump rope you can, as often as you can. If you follow those 3 things, you'll set yourself up for success because you can jump with anything, right? I know I'm not the best jumper, right? I'm very rudimentary compared to some people out there, but I can go into a gym and grab any rope on the wall, size it up, feel it, and I know I can do a workout with it.
Right.
I don't care how short it is. That's why, I train myself down to a kid size rope.
Right.
Yeah.
You could do doubles with a kid size rope, or like
pretty much
my size rope.
Pretty much.
I was trying to remember as you're talking about this. Like, I don't, for whatever reason, remember like when I started jump roping and what it was like. I don't remember if I was good or bad at it. And I don't know why.
Well, you were probably bad.
I don't know.
You're probably good. You're probably one of those guys that actually picked it up kind of easy.
Well,
and didn't have to work too hard at it.
So going back to the heavier, I'm thinking about like old high school training, but then I played basketball in college, so like jumping was very natural for me.
Yeah.
So it was just a little bit of a hand timing thing, and I think I picked it up fairly quick. I wouldn't say I was good at it, but it wasn't.
You went
as
from
long.
I don't remember to I was good at it.
Well, but I
bet he was.
But I remember being very bad at certain things like muscle ups, overhead squats.
Right.
Like those were just awful.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that but I in high school we used to do conditioning drills where we would have an 8-pound rope that we would jump. Like it was literally filled with sand. It was like a rubber tube filled with sand, and we would do that, and we would do plyometrics with a box, and it was devastating. You'd have to jump high, and it would just smash your shoulders, like old school. It was really, as you're thinking about that, I'm like, I should probably like loop some of that stuff back in. It's a very different stimulus.
I don't remember learning double unders because you really didn't back then. You either had them
kind of had
right. Yeah, it was a have or have not thing.
I had them, but then I remember when that first Buddy Lee rope had these really long handles. It was red, and it just kept flying off the handle. And I don't even remember the next rope I got after that. But I was like, all right, I've got doubles, but it wasn't anything I worked to improve. I was like, cool. When double unders come up in a workout, I'm going to be really out of breath and fatigued. I'm not getting better at them.
Right.
And I'm still, all these years later, I mean, David knows, I've reached out because I can still do them. I'll get by in a workout, but they make me implode.
They're kind of a non-issue for them. They're kind of like, I saw them as you're saying that, I'm like, I need to go back and make them harder, heavier, or something like that.
Shorter
but like
rope.
when I get to a jump rope, I'm like, I'm gonna rest now until I go to the next thing. Like,
no, that's like for you, that's the rest. For me, it's like this is the workout.
Oh no,
right?
It's bad.
But you can fix that. That's the cool thing is that
I was getting better at it. We were talking. I moved, so I've just kind of stopped practicing.
Yeah, we need to get back on it. You can absolutely
I've got the whole
get better
kit.
at it.
I mean, you've got a great kit for learning out there. A great kit for practicing.
Yeah,
and that's cool because imagine from the business perspective, you're like, okay, I'll make a rope. That's it. And then how shortly after that was it like, I'll make a different kind and this kind and that kind? Because how many SKUs do you have now?
SKUs, that's kind of hard to say just because our
colors and handles.
Yeah,
I mean, but how many different
we have
types
like 10 different types of jump ropes, right? Just based
meaning
on
like weight.
Based on variation of things, right? Either
weight
based
handle,
on
probably.
Different types of speed ropes. We have a few different versions of speed ropes that have different sizes of handles for specific.
I mean, you have a rope that's basically just metal.
Bare wire, yep. Yeah. That's usually what our competitors like, right? If they get the choice, and I tell them, if you get the choice and you get to cheat, use that. That's great, right?
Yeah, it's almost no energy on the upper body.
Exactly,
Just
But you have to be proficient in timing and the jump because that rope's coming fast.
The speed is way faster. It's so much faster.
Yeah. I'll be. The funny thing is, and I tell people a lot of the time now that I rarely do double unders.
What do you do?
Running in place, crossover single unders.
Why?
Such a better workout.
So like if
just from a cardiorespiratory standpoint.
Everything.
It's just like kind of like we were talking about yesterday, the C2 bike versus the assault bike, just like
full body,
way more muscle involved with versus just doing this.
Yeah, right. Like as far as like monostructural or just very minimal input, what it takes to do a double under once you get good at them. like you said, like you can do that without spiking your heart rate or creating any tension at all. You're literally just using a plyometric bound and then, getting out of the way of the rope.
So can you go zone 2? Hinshaw was talking about zone 2 yesterday. Can you go zone 2 with doubles? Like keep your heart rate that low?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That might be pretty hard.
Yeah, that might be kind of hard.
Because you'd be doing that for a long time to be in zone 2.
I think you'd be able to for a short period, and then, like he said, at some point it'll just jump up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to kind of experiment
That would get
with
expensive probably past the 5-minute mark, I would imagine. Even if you were really good.
I could probably do, like, in place, like, alternating steps.
Because you think, like, how long would it take somebody to get to 300?
Double unders?
3 minutes.
Not even.
3 minutes.
Oh, not even.
3 minutes.
I was just saying, but that'd be on the high end, right?
Yeah.
But probably like
Yep.
a low closer to 2. At which point,
it'd be 245.
how many people are doing more than 300 in a whack?
Right.
Like almost nobody.
Just
unless they're just like that's the test, and you're like just go and see if you can do it unbroken.
Yeah.
So
I mean, a lot of people could do that. Honestly, a lot of people can do that.
Yeah. Really? What do you think? What's your best ever?
A few hundred. Yeah, it's like, never really tested to see how far.
At some point, you're like, why am I doing this?
Well, yeah, it's just I mean, our markers we tell everybody is 50 double unders, 100 double unders, unbroken. Know how long that takes you at a very relaxed pace to keep your heart rate down.
Right.
And know how fast you can do those if you really had to go hard and try not to break. Have those 2 markers lined up and just practice those, because even when you watch.
That's really interesting. I think about that a lot now. Like, just once you've been doing CrossFit for long enough, you think about weird stuff, and I'm like, this is going to take me about 25 seconds.
Yep.
And if I need to go faster, I could probably push it to 20.
Yep.
And I'm like, but I don't want to do that.
What's the benefit?
Yeah, what's the benefit? I'm like, I'm just going to eat the 5
that 5
seconds.
seconds is going to cost you later on.
Way more.
Risk versus reward.
Way more. Yeah,
it's huge. The other thing I often ask people, how fast should double unders be? I get so many really interesting answers to that. I ask competitive athletes, and I'll just regular CrossFit or gym goers, like, how fast should double unders be?
As fast as they need to be efficient.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
I guess it also depends on the workout. Like,
yeah.
Well,
but I'm obviously giving wrong answers.
What's
So
the
help
answer,
us out
David?
here.
In my opinion,
David.
it's as fast as you need them to be in that moment. You choose.
I think that's
what I said.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that's what he said.
no, you said as fast to be. Sometimes you may not be efficient.
But if-
You're trying to go hard to finish, right?
That's fair.
I'm just saying, like, really, it should be as fast as you want them to be. Meaning, you have the tool bag.
Right.
You go fast when you want to go fast. You slow down when you need to slow
Control.
down. Having control. Ultimate
I can go
control.
this fast. I can go slow.
Right,
I can make this whatever it needs to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
But the problem is that with CrossFitters, they walk into a gym, they hear somebody who can do double unders, and they think it's good because they just hear this really fast swishing sound, and it's very hypnotic, I found. You walk into a gym.
That's how I go to sleep at night.
Right? Exactly.
I listen to you do double unders.
But you hear people drop a barbell and it's clang, and then you hear something in the corner and you just hear that. It is very hypnotic, and you're like, what is that? You're drawn to it. And it could be somebody going bat out of hell too fast. And so they think like, oh, that's how double under is supposed to be. So when you try and learn it, they try and emulate that. And it's like, no, your double under should be as slow as you can make it.
It's funny, I'm sure you're the same way. You're like, you once you've been in the game a little while, there's like certain things you're just like good at, right? And you're just like, there's like might be a young kid in the gym, and there's like, they might get to the jump rope before you, and you watch him go, and you're like, I'm going to catch you. It's fine. And I'm not going to have to worry about it. I'm like, you're going to miss it at least 3 times. I'm going to be over here just hanging out.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about, we talk about in the technique lecture, like you walk into the box and someone has a 530 grace and they just collapse at the end, and you're like, that's what I need to get to. And then you realize, oh, that was highly inefficient.
Yeah.
That should be a lot better than that.
Yeah.
So like, let's not use that as our target.
Right.
Let's get efficient first
Right.
and get better at this.
Yeah, and people don't know that you can actually do slow double unders, like really slow double unders.
I didn't know you could do fast double unders. Is that possible?
I would actually consider mine rather slow.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's just the most efficient pace for me, where it's like Cassidy, who you were talking about.
Yeah.
He rips through doubles, and he's significantly faster than me, and I'm like, I'm not going to go that fast. Like, I'm just going to hang out here at the slow pace, and I'm going to be good.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So when you say heavy, how heavy are we talking about on a rope? What is heavy? What's light? What's light? What's heavy?
To give you an example, typical speed wire. That's usually you'll see the uncoated bare exposed wire. A 9-foot section weighs 1 ounce, exactly, 1 ounce.
And that's a long, so it's probably less than that for most people.
Less than that if you cut it down shorter. Yep. So we use kind of 9 foot as our marker,
baseline,
right? Just because that's when we started 15 years ago, 14 years ago, when you go to the store, all the ropes you buy, they're 9-footers. So we kind of use that as our standard. We probably should change that now, honestly, now that we're smarter. But anyways, so 9 foot is 1 ounce. And then we go all the way up to our heaviest. We call it Chronos. We kind of went with this whole Greek god theme, but that's 1 pound just for the cable. just for the cable. So
not
1 ounce to 1
the
pound.
And then the cool thing about your stuff is you have different handles, different cables.
Yeah.
How many? If you take all the different handles and all the different wires, how many combinations, not including the color, could you make out of RX Smart Gear ropes?
Well, that's a tough question to answer for me, just because we most of our ropes, we make them every 2 inches increments, custom size, right? So we could literally make the shortest possible rope.
Well, no, but assuming for me, like if I'm going to go same size across,
okay,
how many different rope variations versus
probably
at least 10. At least
I was going to say
10.
that's probably low, because you have, how many different weight ropes do you have?
We have 10.
I was going to say 10
12,
weights.
Yeah, I mean, once you add in like the beaded rope now.
Right.
You got a beaded rope now?
Yeah. And
that's
then
where have you been?
That's
Yeah.
actually
and
what
then
I
the
started
handles.
with. Not yours. The beaded rope.
Yeah.
Still, like you see the triples, you see the crossover. Like
Listen, I think they should bring back double Dutch, if you were really to be honest with you.
Double Dutch is actually not as easy as people think.
No,
Oh,
I remember learning it like
easy,
in elementary school, and I was like, oh, all right, this is kind of cool. It's a
Yeah.
whole different pace, though.
Yeah, so we were joking. That could be a good team workout, because the coordination between members.
That would be amazing.
how do you know when
to watch.
jump in? That's the impressive part. Like when they're like,
You
and then they
just
go.
watch
You
the
just watch
hands,
the
watch the
ropes,
rope.
yeah, just watch the
Exactly, yeah.
you
Yeah.
do it?
I mean,
Do you wanna
I'm
try
okay.
to do it right now
I'm
on the
okay.
show?
Should we use these? Should we use our wires?
So, with jumping rope, that was your first invention?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you want to call it an invention, I guess.
So what was the patent on that?
Basically, the omnidirectional, we call it, swivel system, right? The way it's connected to the handle. Our very first jump rope, we didn't own the handle design. It was actually something I found in the store when I was kind of like trying to experiment and Frankenstein things. So I found a handle.
It's almost like a bike handle. Is that where you got it from?
Yeah, it's a jump rope handle. No, it's a great jump rope handle that I love. That's the funny thing about that jump rope handle, is that was an existing jump rope handle design. It's been out there, for years before I came across it, and it just happened to be the one that I could integrate my hardware into to get that omnidirectional swivel. So like a lot of like speed ropes, for example, when you have your handle right on this axis and your wire comes in at this axis, right? So I don't know which one's X or Y. 90-degree connection. And the rope spins better if you can maintain that nice rigid horizontal position and then spin the rope like that. Well, to do that requires tension and rigidity, and I didn't like that, right? I was like, oh, I'm building up too much tension, and I'm getting tired. So when I can relax and feel like I'm just shaking water off my hands, that's better. So I needed something that would allow the cable to actually swing this way as well, right? So that's what I added to those handles, was just the little axis pin and key ring, and then the cable connection that allows it to swing laterally this way as well as on that. So when you relax and let your handles kind of have turnover, it can stay on track better, right? So that's the main thing that I patented on that first jump rope, and we've patented multiple jump ropes after that. But that was the first thing that was kind of cool. And so I don't own that handle design, and a lot of other companies, they'll go to the manufacturers and buy that handle, and we were the first ones to ever wrap it with like a tennis overgrip.
With a tennis overgrip, yeah.
Absolutely, and it was just common sense. I was walking by the tennis aisle after I bought all these jump ropes that I was going to go tear apart, and I'm like, what is that? And it was tennis overgrip. Look at those cool colors, right? And the handles I was buying at the time had like a foam sleeve, and those would eventually slip off,
those.
right?
Yeah.
So I started.
I've had every, because I've been using your jump ropes
at
my affiliate for, God, maybe 10 years.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
And I've had.
Yeah, you got the setup.
Yeah, we have multiple setup.
Yeah.
We have the wall setup for both adults and kids, and I probably have to change out the actual cables once every 18 to 24 months, maybe. They just get eaten through.
Do a
lot because we do a fair amount of double unders at the gym.
Awesome.
Just because we like to teach it.
So I'll help you extend that lifespan of those.
I'd love it.
You
don't want my money?
No, I mean, I love your money, but I want your athletes to be more efficient.
Yeah.
Tell your members, like, whatever one they're used to grabbing, like, because it's funny how you just create a chart and you put it up there and it says, I'm 5'10", you should use the 8'10" orange rope.
Right.
People just follow that. Doesn't matter. That's the one.
Right.
They should go two down. Two sizes automatically.
Whoa.
Automatically.
But it's your chart.
It's your chart.
I know. It's a tough thing. So,
why don't you
David, what we found on this podcast is David's a liar, everybody.
David doesn't
a little bit
know
of a liar. So here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that we came up with that sizing standard decade and a half ago. Sizing standard of height plus 3 feet gives you kind of a maximum length.
Okay.
A maximum length. That doesn't mean efficient. That means maximum, because a lot of people want to go even farther than that. And if they do, we know that they can only use that rope if they're in poor form, right?
Oh, got it. Okay.
So you know what I mean? So if we try to put people, if I made the chart, well, like I just told you, if I shifted everything so that you were using something 2 sizes shorter and that was intended for your height, people would mess up constantly.
The second they broke down, that would be a mess.
But you could add that to the chart, like, hey, as you become more efficient.
Exactly.
Are you struggling to manage your gym efficiently and still losing clients in the process? I know I've been there. Wodify solved that problem for me. Wodify is a top-rated customer retention platform trusted by over 5,000 other fitness businesses. My favorite part about Wodify is everything is in one place. I don't need this huge software stack, a texting platform, an email platform, a merchant processing platform, a WOD tracking platform. I can do everything in one platform. I can communicate with my staff, my members seamlessly, and I can interact with them about the things that matter most. Give Wodify a try today and join me and thousands of other businesses that have already transformed their operations by going to wodify.com/podcast. And the best part is you'll get 50% off your first 3 months by using my link.
Oh my God, Dustin, Virgil.
Dude, I
was just talking about you.
Yeah.
Dustin, come here.
Dustin was one of my models.
Where's the mic?
Oh.
This guy.
Dustin's one of my old models.
There's the mic. Dude, first of all, awesome. We haven't seen you at all yet.
If you guys know, this is employee.
He is CrossFit employee.
How'd you get that? Well, you don't work here. Oh,
standard,
the standard is the standard.
Standard is the standard, baby.
Always represent.
Thank you.
How are you?
Is that on?
Talking
Is that
to
on?
the
It
mic.
is. No, I just unmuted it. You're good.
No, you're gonna stay on
Put
the
it close
show.
to your mouth.
Let's get him in. Let's get this good-looking guy in here.
Yeah, while Fern's getting that going, why will that save the ropes?
Oh, because it won't excessively hit the ground and cause more friction.
It'll be on the floor.
Right? Yeah, you want very light contact.
And less of it will hit the ground every time.
Yeah, you want very light contact, and a lot of people overstrike the ground. They really.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell us how you can't
Tell
do
us the
muscle ups.
story.
I failed the muscle up at the level 1 seminar
Recently?
as the demo.
Oh
That
no!
is-
It was. Look at this.
Oh no!
We
How
still
did
don't
that
know what
happen?
happened.
It was.
Was it
like
stage
3
fright?
days after Murph. I had like borderline rhabdo.
Oh,
This
geez.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
right after Murph.
That's
You
a brutal
failed twice?
friend.
You failed twice?
That's a brutal friend to call you out like that.
Pat said he got up there and he was like, no, I got it.
Did you save the day, Pat?
Hey, it's even worse for him because I think I beat him at the lunchtime workout. Probably the last the last 10 years.
Yeah,
I've crushed him at the lunchtime workout.
But all the
I did
participants
fail the
watch you
muscle up.
fail the muscle up.
I failed the muscle up.
They don't remember the
Oh,
workout.
man,
yeah.
How do you know Dave?
Oh, dude, me and Dave go way back.
Way back.
From
My
what?
First, other than Inferno, CrossFit East County was like my first affiliate.
Talk closer to it.
CrossFit East County
There
was
you
my
go.
first affiliate, and Dave was a longtime member there.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah.
Is this the box that your friend dragged you to?
Down
Same box. I've been a member of the same box for 15 years. Over
but
15
you're
years.
no longer there.
East County.
He
San
moved. He
Diego.
moved back
Yeah.
up north.
But that was so that you met Dustin early on. First of all, Dustin Virgil, seminar staff, currently firefighter,
People are distracted. They gotta pull that down.
I know those guns.
very small in stature, not fit, obviously. Head judge this year, or
judge.
team lead?
Team lead, yeah.
Team lead, no big
Team
deal.
lead, yeah.
No big
Yeah.
deal. How's it going without us there? Is everybody okay?
You know, it's a lot of handfuls of M&Ms and stuff. It's bad.
Fern and
guys.
I were on top of that.
I need some help, like breaking it down.
Right.
Keeping it
them
down.
in.
Yeah.
So how early on in your journey did you meet this guy?
Gosh, so that was at the very first gym.
So that would have been what year? That would have been 2010ish.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, right in there
Yeah,
before you
right.
moved. Before
Yep.
you
First
moved back
impressions of this guy.
up north. Just such a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to
I
date him.
didn't want you to say that,
I
but
wanted
I
to
agree.
date him. I know. I wanted to date this guy. I was already married to my wife, though. Yeah. No, just you know what? This
I
guy
hate it.
came in.
I hate it.
Do you remember him?
This guy was
early
so
on?
nice.
Yeah, he was the first one. I was brand new there, probably my first day, and Paul greeted me, the owner, Paul Flores. He's like, "Yeah, where are you from?" "Yeah, I did a couple classes at Inferno," and I hear like from, the next room over, like, "Oh, Bill Grunler, Inferno. I know Inferno. What's your name?" And Totally, right out of the gate, man. Just like the first one to welcome me.
He's great, dude. Back then, I was in pretty good. Did I ever beat you in workouts back then?
I'm sure you beat me in every workout.
I think I beat him in some workouts back then.
No way.
Not now. I couldn't even get close.
Long-time regional athlete.
Long-time regional.
That was before that. I was still like brand new into CrossFit. Yeah.
That was my key. I was in my 40s, so get them while they're young, just spank them around, and then they end up passing you up.
Dave
eventually.
is an OG.
Oh, that's why he's here.
That's why he's here.
Meeting right there.
Oh, man.
Well,
hey, thanks for having me.
You gotta go back. Are you still judging tonight?
Yeah.
Is there more?
Not judging tonight, but we got like some rehearsals.
You're sweaty. You getting your workouts in as always. All right.
It's all that fitness coming out.
You got some wild chips?
Oh yeah. I haven't tried them yet, but we'll see.
Oh, man, we miss hanging out with you. All right, well, have a good night. We'll talk. David's giving you Dude, good to see you, Dustin. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Dustin's awesome.
He's awesome. Good dude.
Dustin was he was like our third. Our third at judging at the game. So you see the three of us over in the corner, like nothing good's happening over there.
That's awesome.
You know what we're not doing? Reviewing the event.
Super fit dude still.
Oh,
he
so
is.
fit.
He's amazing.
So fit.
He's so good.
So,
I still tell people the story about Mal O'Brien chalking up your hand 2 years ago.
That's partly why she's not here this year.
That was the best.
Did I tell you? Mal O'Brien, I don't pay attention to the games athletes. So this little girl comes out, covered in chalk. I don't remember what the event was.
I don't either.
But I was like, she's got an excessive amount of chalk. And you know how the games athletes come out?
Hey, how are you?
And I shake her hand. I was like, it was as if I chalked up. And
literally.
And he must have seen it in the stands.
So,
just do this. You're like, why did you do that?
I started shake. I don't remember.
I was laughing my ass off, and when I watched it, I started texting him so he would get it after the event. I'm like, dude, that was freaking hilarious because he literally shook her hand, and she's trying to butter him up like athletes do, and then he's just looking at his hand. And he's just shaking his head, so disgusted,
Dude, there's some funny shit that happens on the floor.
Don't shake my hand.
Yeah.
There's some funny stuff that happens on the floor as a judge. So this, somebody took a screenshot. This is in Aromas. I think it's on ESPN at this point. We're on the tennis court, and one of my buddies back in Virginia Beach took a picture of it on there. So it's I'm standing out by the rig, and Noah Olson comes up to me, and he's just
you denied him.
I denied him, yeah. And they're and there's they just have a photo of him shaking my hand, and I'm just literally not doing anything. Because somebody was don't shake the athlete's hands, and I was like, okay.
Like the British Royal Guard.
Oh yeah, and they were ignore them, and he was just hey man.
I've seen that shared a lot of times.
So funny, and I was just I'm not mad at you, bro, but I'm just not shaking your hand right now.
All right. Zach Forrest? Is that Zach Forrest?
That is the one and only.
I saw you on the floor out there, Zachy.
He also used to be fit.
Zach, come here. You're good on camera.
Yeah.
It's all right. We all say
just
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're standing next to the king of that. Zach Forrest, how do you know David Newman? This is basically David. This is your life, David Newman.
It kind of is. I'm seeing so many good old friends.
We're going to just bring up all your old friends while Fern's getting that.
Too.
Tell us, first of all,
put it awkwardly
Zach
close
Forrest,
to your mouth when you talk.
Longtime seminar staff, former owner of Max Effort in Vegas. How do you know David Newman?
CrossFit Games athlete. Let's not forget. Multiple year CrossFit Games athlete.
Computer Masters.
How did we first meet? Was it?
Well, I sponsored you at some level back in the day.
We've been
I used to give you money. That's how.
Now you sound like a real jackass.
No, how did we first meet? Was it at a competition?
I'm trying to remember. Honestly, so my brothers live in Vegas. I think I just came out to your gym actually. My brothers lived in Vegas, and it's when you had CrossFit Las Vegas with your former partner back then, and
I think
Max Effort.
Yeah, at Max Effort. Yeah, and I think
it was CrossFit Las Vegas prior.
No, back then it was CrossFit Las Vegas.
Yeah, CrossFit Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Early
You changed the name?
Well, that one we split, and Joe took CrossFit Las Vegas, and then we opened up another one, Max Effort.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I knew him back in those days.
Yeah.
By the way, Max Effort probably most drop-ins ever, right? As a box.
Unofficial. I haven't heard of another gym that had more drop-ins, but we were averaging 20 a day. So
most beautiful
crazy.
gym.
Back that time.
Still the
terrifying.
most beautiful gym.
It was terrifying, exciting at the same time. And I remember you coming in, and I think I was just incredibly impressed with your certain style of genius when you were talking to me about.
Wow.
Well, Rogue was blowing up, and I remember the advancement of coaching was very prevalent at that time, and I just remember you pointing at things like ab mats and the pull-up bars and the jump ropes and just explaining your vision for a few certain things, and I was just like, this guy's on a different level when it comes to developing things that are going to help not only CrossFitters but just exercise and learning movement in general. That's what I was most impressed
thank
about.
you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I still give you credit often when I teach workshops because I do. Because 1 year I called you up and said, "Let me come." You're still at CrossFit Las Vegas.
Okay.
Let me come do a workshop. Let me do it because you were on seminar staff for years. And I go, I just want you to observe and then give me feedback. And so we went and did our workshop, and tried to like really impress him. And then afterwards, he didn't hold back anything, and he gave me really actionable, straightforward, great critiques that we immediately implemented, changed up everything. You did. You honestly.
Code
you said
for like I was an asshole or
no.
That's what it sounded like.
No, and it wasn't like a ton of things. You were real straightforward, but you were just like, look, talk less, do more. Talk less, do more. Be more succinct.
Seems common.
Right?
Pretty stock. That's pretty stock feedback.
Yeah, we're not going to give Zach
But
credit for that.
but I needed to hear that from somebody that I respected, and so that really meant a lot, right? And there were a few other things in it, but that was awesome, seriously. So I remember that to this day, and that was well over a decade ago.
I remember our entire staff and all of our membership that went through the workshop was blown away by how they were like, jump rope, man, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more there that we can leverage for our members than they initially thought. That's cool. What I'm talking about, your specific type of genius.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, that's enough of you two talking nice about
it. What a love fest. What a love fest. Let's get the hug. Thank you, Zach.
What's going on with Zach Forrest? Talking to the camera, tell him what you got going on.
Nothing. Don't make me look at the camera.
I thought you might have had something cool going on.
I don't have anything cool going on.
No, everything's good?
Everything's
good for Zach Forrest? All right, good.
Not yet.
Keep it a secret. Keep it a secret.
All right.
See you, buddy.
See you, Zach.
All right. So, people love you.
Well, I love him back. I'm lucky. I'm a lucky guy, you know?
I like what Zach said, and that's kind of where we started. Like,
right.
You're looking at things and being like, this can be better. What are some of the other areas of CrossFit that you work to improve on, and what are some of the things you still think about that you want to improve? You mentioned the ab mat. I know you've created things for climbing ropes. Like, so what else?
Right. We just actually were releasing that this weekend.
What is it?
You know what? It's the most simple little idea, but
those are always the best ones, though.
Right, they are. They really are. And so, I work out at 5 in the morning, and we got the same. The people that work out early, they're always considered the crazy ones, right? That go in there, and we have all different type of people as far as their athleticism, their build, their stature, everything. And so I've got friends in there, and I'm watching them just struggle at rope climb, and we do all the different progressions you can do. And obviously, to me, obviously what's common is set a box next to the rope, have them sit on a box and practice the foot lock. That's garbage. I really never liked that, but it's what was available.
I don't think it's a good scaling option for the workout. It is a good skill development, but it shouldn't be in the workout, I don't think.
Even I'm talking about for skill development, right? For skill development, it's all that was available.
Right.
So that's why we did it. And to me, that's like penguin taps. I don't like that one either, penguin taps for double unders, but it's all that was available until we created something better, right? So you're always trying to progress the conversation. So to me, the best thing you could do previously was if your rope was close enough to a pull-up bar or a rig, throw the rope over the rig, grab a pull-up bar, and then practice your J-hook, practice your foot lock, right? And once you get it locked in, then you just execute a pull-up, use your foot lock. Best thing. But most gyms, for liability reasons, try and keep their climbing ropes far away from the rig, right? You don't want those things close together. So then you could buy a short rope and just hook it on your rig, but then now you got a rope hanging from your rig. Right. Anyway, so I'm watching this, and I'm like, and honestly, this is funny because I've thought about this for years.
I remember when you showed us.
I showed you on Zoom, right, a long time ago. It had just a stupid little prototype, but I was so excited. And finally, one morning, I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, oh, I got it. I think I got it. And I found whatever materials I could to see if I could replicate what was in my head. And literally, go to a climbing rope, you pinch the rope. You take this, we have this piece of big, thick, like almost seatbelt webbing that's stitched into a loop. So you take the rope, pinch the rope in half, up high, like up above your head. You slide this loop over it far enough back that you can then take this T-bar, jam it through the opening of the rope, then you pull that loop back down and you choke the rope off. Now you have a T-bar that you can hang on a rope that's going to allow you to spin and swing, practice your foot lock, do a J-hook pull-up, hang back down swing your legs off the rope, swing and reattach just like you would on a regular rope climb.
Without having to worry about like your grip on there.
That's the thing.
Go conventional grip,
It gives you more time to just perfect that coordination and get that dexterity and that muscle memory, and then you know, it's phenomenal. It's something so basic.
Are you selling those now?
Yeah, we're selling a bunch of them. Rope climb wizard. I'm horrible at names. I'm like, what do I call this?
Rope climb helper.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's a rope climb T-bar.
The rope climb 1000.
We'll probably change the name. I'm horrible with names. I even hate the name of my company.
We'll help you out.
No, our
I think the name of the company is great.
Although you do have to change it because, well, I guess it's not just jump rope
Smart
related,
gear.
right? Smart gear.
Yeah. Well, we did. We were jump ropes early on back in 2009, and then I had so many other products things that I made for my own CrossFit experience. People don't know this. I made grips for myself before I ever made a jump rope, because as soon as I tore doing muscle ups and a lot of pull ups, I'm like, that sucks. So I started making my own leather grips. They were homemade, they were crappy, but they worked for me.
That was already a thing, but it was exclusive to gymnastics.
Yeah.
At that point, like
yeah,
you had to be a gymnast.
It's probably very hard to find back then.
Yeah, just like weightlifting shoes were.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember buying Dewins back in the day. You had to go on like the dark web.
Oh right.
I got into a weird bidding war for some Nike Romaleos back in the day. I'm like, $500 is worth it.
I remember that.
I remember eBay. I was
after I think it was like the 08 Olympics.
04. No, you're right. It was 08. It was 08.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I paid way too much for those shoes.
Yeah.
But those shoes were tanks, by the way. Like those, I still have those shoes.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Those weightlifting shoes last forever.
Some of them don't, but those did for sure. Yeah.
So you got that. Anything else? Now, I know you probably can't talk about it, but are you working on anything?
You know, I'm actually working on some stuff out of CrossFit, like some other fun projects that I'm an avid skier. I love to ski and snowboard a little, mostly ski, and so I've run into some problems there. I've encountered trying to enjoy skiing with my friends who snowboard, which is always a drag, but nothing against snowboarders. I call them knuckle draggers. But so I'm coming out with a product. I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's super fun. And when I talk to buddies that are snowboarders and I tell them what I'm working on, they're like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" Right? Because it's one of those things that everybody encounters all the time, and nobody's ever done anything about it. And you know, my kids started on skis when they were barely 2 years old, and then they switched over to snowboarding, and so for over a decade, I find myself having the same problem with them when I'm skiing with them, and then when I ski with my adult friends, same problem with them, and I'm going, why have I not figured this out? And so I finally just put a little thought into it and figured out a fun little solution.
But I think that's the cool part. You see a void, and rather than waiting for someone else to fill it,
you're like,
you start innovating.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I get a lot of calls and people that want to kind of pick my brain, or they have an idea they want to share, or whatever, and I always let them know, look, whatever you're thinking about, whatever idea you have, I guarantee you there are 100 other people across the world that have the same idea. It's who's going to act on it first.
Right.
That's really what it boils down to. So we always laugh that we think Benjamin Franklin invented electricity or discovered electricity, and if you're in Europe, they think it was Nikola Tesla or somebody like that, right?
Right.
So it's just, there's things happening across the world or in other places that, you know, if you have a good idea, try it out.
Do it.
You know? Yeah.
Do it.
Go see if you can make it happen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And the carryover there is like affiliate owners. They're like, I'm going to do it. Like, this needs to be available in my town or my city or whatever. Do it.
And also, like David just said, there's other people thinking the same thing. Do it better.
Do it better. Absolutely.
Do it better. Evaluate it, and that's probably the biggest takeaway from this conversation is you're constantly, it sounds like me, you never get out of this refinement process. You're like constantly looking, I'm like, I could be a little bit better. We could shave a little bit off here. We can make this a little bit.
Look, you went from one rope to 10, right? Like, way more.
To accommodate people.
And I'm sure
there's
more
multiple
coming.
issues here.
You know what? I've had no inspiration lately, honestly. Like where we're at now,
not even right now, this very moment.
This very moment.
Let us inspire you.
No inspiration. I mean, we have some new training products coming out to help people just practice better, right? Just people that are still kind of in those progressionary stages, just to help them practice and kind of create a better simulation, right? And that's always the big thing. Is we talked about there's the haves and have-nots back in the old day. And there was nothing in between where you could create a simulation where you feel closer to the haves.
Right.
And so I'm always just trying to fill that void for people. And, you know, my thing is I want people to enjoy fitness, right? they should enjoy it. And the learning process, the hard work, the sweat, the tears, they should enjoy it. They should relish in it, right? And it shouldn't be frustrating. So, I mean, I ran into a guy at our booth a couple days ago and walked up, and he's kind of grumbling like, oh, my double unders are shit. And I'm like, why? They're easy. They're super easy. And he started laughing like you started laughing. And I'm like, I really believe they are so easy. And I said, have you not seen any of our videos? He's like, nope, never heard of you. I go, how long have you been CrossFitting? 6 years. He's from the UK. He goes, 6 years. I go, we've sold globally for decades. I'm like, you've never heard of us or seen the videos? Nope. Wow, okay. So
that hurts. But
it shows you there's a void and there's opportunity.
There you go.
There's opportunity. There's a market out there. There's people who haven't heard our message, seen our teaching, or heard of our product. So I spent 10 minutes with the guy, and he was like just blown away that there was accessible information to help him immediately get better.
Did he make progress on that?
In 10 minutes, he was a different person.
That's cool.
Right? And that's what I was like, cool. Hopefully I got a fan for life, right?
Have you always been a teacher like that?
I think so. I think at heart, like I do like teaching people. I like people to like understand something, you know, and I like to try and find efficient ways to get that message through, right? You know, and what they say is, right, if you can't do, then you teach, right?
Right.
I was never like a great CrossFitter, a great gymnast or anything like that, but I could teach it really well, right?
I think you understood the challenge of it.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, but it's fun, right? It's fun when somebody gets it and you just...
That's the joy of teaching.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's the joy of teaching.
There's so much similarity between David and Hinshaw.
Yeah. Both very obvious. They're like, man, I just want to help people be able to do this thing better.
Yeah.
And both of those things, oddly enough...
And they're innovating too, like, because Hinshaw is just innovating more so in his protocols.
Right.
Yeah, you're innovating more so from an equipment perspective.
But both of them are scenarios are like, hey, you can do this, but like a lot of people, they're like, this is stupid, I don't want to do it. And you're like, it doesn't have to be.
Well, and I think
you can enjoy it.
The really cool part from a owner or coach perspective is double unders could become those days where it's not fun for members because it's like load we can scale, right? Even gymnastics, you can do a similar version where a lot of times like double unders, well, I don't have them, so I have to do something different. Mm-hmm. I'm the odd man out. And you're saying, well, we've got some new toys and
we have substitutes and progressions.
Right,
absolutely.
That's where I was going to go with this. So I have a very specific question, but this is the assault bike, the rower, running, all the monostructural stuff, things that was very, very frequently, there was no teaching, no progression happening inside the gym, meaning the coaches, they're just like, hey, get on there, get warmed up, and then make sure you're on meters, not calories. I'm like, thanks, teach. You know, that's very useful.
Hit the menu back button.
Hit the menu back button. You know, like maybe you're going to figure out what your drag factor is. But so when you're talking about a progression, do you mind walking us through something very simple that coaches can teach? Because this is something like I'll teach double unders at a level 2, and people are like, I've never seen that before, and I'm like, that's probably why people in your gym don't have double unders, man. Like you got to that's a skill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so for me, the first thing I got to do is get them in the right size rope. What they don't realize is they get the wrong size rope.
I think we skipped over that. What is the right size rope?
We said 3 feet is a starting point, right?
Yeah, that's wrong. Again, I was lying. That's the ceiling.
Where'd the old armpit measurement come from?
I'm glad you brought that up. So that's the funny thing. And I just taught a workshop this morning. I've been teaching workshops all week at the Go Wad House, at Pat's Gym.
Hence your voice.
Hence my voice. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I explained this in that so that people get it. But so boxers, we've been the official partner to USA Boxing for almost a decade.
Okay.
We get to go to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs.
You do?
Yeah.
Let me know next time you're there.
We set up. Yeah. We should get together. Get to work with boxers, and so the thing is that boxers will step on the rope with 2 feet, about hips width apart, pull the handles up, get it to their armpit, and they're like, okay, this is what I want. And what they know is that that's going to yield a super long rope, and that super long rope is going to have a huge drag factor that takes a lot longer to get around their body. They also know it's going to hit in the wrong spot in front of their feet, so in order to compensate for that, it allows them, or forces them, however you want to look at it, to pull their hands up into a fighting position, right? So the rope will now pass through in the right spot, because no matter what rope you're using or what skill you're doing, the thing that never changes is where the rope should pass in front of your toes. It's about a shoe length. That's ideal. That never changes, okay? You're always trying to get the rope to that spot, your job. So for a boxer with that super long rope, makes them pull their hands up. What do CrossFitters do? We go out.
Or,
CrossFitters go wide.
Yeah.
When the rope is hitting too long and it's too messy out in front, They shorten the rope by changing the shape of it. They make it
super inefficient.
So now you're using a whole different set of muscle groups.
Smoked, yeah.
Whole different set of muscle groups, right? Yeah, you're just pumping tons of blood and oxygen into there. So boxers know to do this. It brings the rope in. Now they have all this extra drag that they want because it's making them tired. They're using it to try and build their stamina, right? And it brings them up into their fighting position because they want their arms to have, good endurance in their fighting position, right? So that's what boxers do. It works for boxing. CrossFit, we're all about efficiency. We want optimal efficiency, most amount of productivity, least amount of effort. So for me, that's center line of your body, right? You just have to get your hands to the center line of your body. If we size the rope so that you can hold your hands at the center line of your body, which I tell people is usually right around the hip crease.
Right.
Hip crease to hip bone somewhere, depending on your stature. And you size the rope so that it's going to make contact with the ground about a shoe length in front of you. That's a good size rope. That's a good standard size rope. If you were going to measure it the way what I like better, and it's something I feel we created, is you step on the rope with 1 foot, because now we're eliminating variables.
Right.
When you have 2 feet, how wide are you? Exact, all those factors. So just 1 foot under the arch, pull the handles up. I take the handles in one hand and I turn them out of the way because I don't want the handles as part of the equation.
That's not the point, it's the rope.
It's the cable that's moving around you. So then now that I have that, then I'll bring my feet side by side, only 1 foot in the rope still, and I'll pull it up to the center line of my body, making sure I'm standing tall through my spine, and I want to see where that hits. So that chart on your wall that I lied about, that's usually going to get you somewhere near
sternum.
Or a little above, actually. Okay. The height plus 3 feet always ends up a little bit higher.
Closer to this point, yeah.
A little bit, right? More realistic, halfway between belly button and sternum, like about a hand width below. That's a better size.
You know what's hilarious about this whole conversation? For, 20 years, it'd be like, hey, here's how you measure it to make it harder for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and to learn bad technique, right? So that we know that if you basically get the rope round trip under 1 foot to about halfway between belly button and sternum, that's going to allow your hands to hang center line of the body, shoulders width apart, elbows are back. That's another big common miscue. We coaches forever like to say elbows in, and it should be elbows back, actually, to get your hands in the right spot. So now this is where we operate. Everything you do, single unders, double unders, triple unders, crossover singles, crossover double unders, everything should happen from this. And so to relate to us big meathead CrossFitters, I call this the barbell position. You should be in your high hang clean position with your hands reversed, not your snatch position.
Got it.
High hang clean. So that seems to resonate with people, right?
Well, what's great about that is there's correlations here, right? So you're using other reference points they already know to help them teach things, which is always helps to connect the dots faster when you're teaching anything. Cool.
So you give somebody a start. That's your home base.
Right.
So that's the first thing I would do with somebody, and then get him training singles.
There he is.
There he is, the man.
There he is.
We're talking about you.
We were just talking about you, and what a brilliant mind you were.
Turn it on.
R. I said R. I corrected myself.
Yeah, R. Yeah.
Still M.
Heidi got him.
You're not going to come say hi?
Come on.
This podcast will never end.
I know.
Turn it on, please.
She's a tough agent over there. You got a tough agent
Heidi
over
has
there.
to reel him in.
Boy, I love her.
Careful, he was.
Good to see you, brother.
Let's see.
Maggie.
Why is this not working? Keep going. I'll get this fixed.
No,
we were just talking about you.
This is what happens when you're popular.
Yeah.
Like David, numerous people have. Yeah.
Okay.
Dustin, Zach Forrest, now Chris Henshaw. We were saying one thing we said is how much in common you guys have as being awesome teachers.
Except you have way better hair. Way better hair.
Did come up.
So jealous.
But no, you
guys
amazing
hair.
Are both super passionate about teaching, and it's obvious. But you have a very similar style, and you're innovating. You're innovating the space.
But the truth is about Dave, he's a visionary, right? So he's selling products in the marketplace, and one of the challenges is like a jump rope's been around from the beginning of time. So how can you innovate a jump rope? How can you make it different than what's always been done?
Omnidirectional. Well, look at this guy.
Well, so one of the things like at the aerobic capacity course, which I really am grateful for, Dave, is that I said, I want to do a warm-up that actually is something that's simple, that you learn on the schoolyard, that anybody should be able to do. But my belief is that if you don't practice something over and over and again, you forget how to do it. And in the CrossFit space, no one ever did single unders. People always did double unders. And so I talked to Dave, and he's like, that's awesome. He says, I have a new rope for you, and it's called Zeus. You remember this?
Yeah. That was several years ago, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a visionary.
Yeah.
Because he right away knew that what we need to do is we're going to slow down that movement because it's a single under, and we're going to present a different challenge. And I was telling Dave, I go, well, okay, so I see the rope is heavy, but then I said, what about the handle? Your handle's light. Should we go lightweight on the handle? And Dave's like, no.
Heavy.
Like you were saying, and I don't remember what you said, why you were not going to take like a 5-pound handle and make it all about the handle. It was about the rotational weight.
Not adding weight. Not adding weight into the handle. Make it dynamic. Make the weight dynamic.
I have no idea why, but he was like, no. No 5-pound weight in the handle, no more weights. He said what you should be doing is presenting the challenge because the challenge is single under. So
there's a video that you taking a bunch of games athletes through at Mayhem.
He was there.
Destroying.
Rich and Sarah.
Yeah.
Rich and Sarah.
They got obliterated on single unders.
No. It was so good because Dave's there. Sarah does a single under, misses. She does another one. And this is in the aerobic capacity seminar. Misses. So she takes her rope to Dave and says, this thing's defective.
Something's wrong with your rope.
It's broken. Something wrong with the rope.
I don't think there is.
I don't think it is.
No, and so that's what's legendary.
Well, then that came up last year in the games where you saw people really struggle with single unders. And it was like crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, you have not
Tia
done this.
struggled.
I judged her. I was like, you did not practice this.
No way.
I did judge her. And I was like, oh, as soon as she came out and she started with the jogging in place, I knew immediately in the first 3 reps, I was like, you're going to miss because you have not practiced this and you are not good with single. And she missed twice.
And she was using a speed rope.
Right.
Which is the worst thing for something like that.
Yeah. But it was immediately.
It was our speed rope.
Yeah.
Really good speed rope, by the way.
It's not defective. The rope's not defective. Yeah.
But isn't that interesting, right? That you have a relationship with the founder, the owner. It's a single under workout. Why wouldn't you just get what should I use?
Yeah. Hey, what should I do? Yeah. But I vividly remember that she walked in and I was like, oh, you're in trouble.
So she said that was her worst event, the worst program that
probably ever.
So she must not like you.
I mean, she doesn't have to. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I did ask David. I said, can you do zone 2 jump rope?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this. We were talking about you earlier.
Yeah, she can. He can.
He said no.
They
both said
sure.
Well,
no. Sure.
It depends whether or not he can maintain the heart rate at that
Well,
space.
I think, the
we
specific
should test
question.
it at camp.
Yeah.
But not double unders, but he could do single
Okay,
under.
so that was the question was double unders, and we were like, I don't think you could do. Yeah.
You have to remember that a double under, it revolves more force. It's more like a ballistic movement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you have a ballistic, something more force, it's going to recruit more fast twitch fibers.
Right.
And as a byproduct of that, your heart rate's going to soar.
Right.
Like we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
But it was double
decided
unders, and I was like, I don't think so, but for sure, single unders, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or at least like jogging in place.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just jogging, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the protocols that he does with boxers, right?
Yeah, that's what we were literally just talking about before you walked up. Yeah.
No,
All right, you got to. Where do you have to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, Heidi
You have
said
to drink more. You have to drink more.
it's great beer.
No. Phones don't work here. I've got 40 messages that said failed to send.
That's a good thing.
And they're all like, we've already competed today, Chris. It's too late. We missed it. How'd the bike event go?
Amazing. Your Adler got second place.
Did he after the conversation?
Yeah.
Did he mention us? Did he mention us?
Oh, really?
All 5 of them broke away. All of them. Krennikov was in there. Yonikoski was in there.
Who won?
Yonikoski.
Yeah.
That's expected.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's really
But
good on the
Jeff
bike.
did second after
And they
our
all
conversation?
work together. Can you imagine that you have these competitors? They're competing against each other, but in that event, they set that aside.
You have to. It's like the tour, right?
But that's unique, right? Here, it's never been done before until today.
Was it? They basically created a peloton.
That's correct.
Yeah.
5 people.
5 people,
But
and then those 5 pulled away.
But of 5 people that are competitors against one another, and they worked as a team, and it worked.
That's cool.
They
That
were
is cool.
always taking turns, and no one ever took a flyer off the front. No one ever compromised the position. It was so beautifully done. That bike course, it was perfection.
Do you think that happened spur of the moment, or they had a conversation pre-event?
Probably had a conversation, I would imagine. Who knows?
You know the answer.
You do know.
You know.
You know.
Don't start playing poker, Chris, because
Heidi said you got to go.
Yeah,
Heidi said you got to go. You're going to be in trouble. I don't want to be in trouble with your wife.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome, buddy. Good seeing you.
This is your life, David Newman.
I'll be in trouble with plenty of people. I'm not going to be in trouble with Heidi.
And now we've got your high school girlfriend.
Oh my gosh. I miss her. No, I'm kidding.
So you were talking about the elbows back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just as a... You're just asking for like some basic ways to get coaches going.
The height of the rope and then elbows back. And then
so start with
shaking off the water.
Yeah, that's what it should feel like exactly. So for me, it's just like really understanding the framework and positioning, and make sure that you are disciplined in your positioning with your single unders. Make sure the cadence is right. That's the big one too. Is that coaches aren't really specific about what kind of cadence they want with single unders. And if I'm taking somebody and I want to prep them for double unders, I'm going to teach them a very quick cadence single under.
Right.
It's got to be quick cadence. And coaches forever trying to get somebody to do double under, tell them to do a high bound for single under, and they don't realize that high bound has a derivative which forces people to do this slow the rope down.
Cadence of the rope.
You got to slow the rope down to match the high bound. Now they're doing this arm flapping motion, and then they're going to say, now do a double under, and they're going to ask them to still do a big bound, but now focused on changing your wrist.
It turns into this one. You're like, what's happening? Yeah.
Totally, right? Yeah. So you should teach them a really low, quick cadence single under. That's going to generate this nice, tight wrist circle, gets the rope already moving. Then you introduce the big bound, and guess what? The rope's already moving. You almost have to give it no extra input. Just get out of the way at the right time, which should be down low.
And that's where somebody who's been teaching this well is you're like, hey, you don't really teach that. You just have them do it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it have you a better outcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just
good. I've been doing it for pretty close to that.
Sounds like you're on the mark.
Very good.
Sounds like you're on the mark.
Very good. I remember. Was that in Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
You did a great double under.
Oh. I like to throw in,
times.
like, because I want the experienced athletes to be challenged, so we'll throw in teaching cadence and position, and then we start changing foot position in there too. But the cadence should never change.
Right.
And it throws people off. Well, Brian's not out here, but I threw him for a ringer when we were filming stuff for the knowledge. And, I mean, he was a mess. And this guy who has double under is like, I just want you to move your feet. Just change positions. And, like, could not do it. And I was like, all right, we'll come back to it. We'll move on.
Love it.
But if he can do that, I know something about his double unders. He has more control. When you have more control, the double unders are going to be easier.
And that's in the knowledge.
Correct.
Love it.
Yeah.
And you said you're going to replace all of Fern's ropes because you lied about the height thing? Is that true?
We're going to change the sign and put better images on the sign.
Asterisk, little asterisk.
Right, that just says these are recommendations.
Read this, but however, it doesn't matter, so then read this.
As seen on Best Hour of Their Day.
Exactly.
Well, it's been great chatting with you.
Awesome.
We're going to let you go because it's late here. The place is cleaning out
There's
again.
literally nobody here. We've done it 2 days in a row, shut it down. So
this was fun, guys.
This is really fun. Thank you for coming
Super
on.
Fun.
And that was great to be able to bring on all those people to chat with.
I know. Yeah.
And
so many cool guys.
If you guys, gym owners, if you've not checked out their kind of gym package, you definitely should. I've been using them for years. I think they're amazing. I just keep changing out
And
the
they
cables.
keep them in, like, you see the other ones, and they're just a mess. The ropes get tangled. These are color-coded.
Oh, yeah, they're clean. They go back. That is kind of a pet peeve. It's like my heart dies a little bit when somebody like puts it like in the wrong way, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? You don't see the other 20
Isn't that
in there?
crazy
I'm like,
how people do that?
I'm like, I know a lot about you as a person by looking at this. So.
Yeah, you don't put your shopping cart away.
Yeah, you don't do a lot of things.
Well, that's another interesting. You guys were talking about like with Chris about innovating something that's been around forever. Walking to a CrossFit gym or almost any gym, you always see ropes hanging from the cord, handles all down there.
And just on top of each other.
Just on top of each other, and then they're getting wrapped around each other, and you try and grab one from the top.
I got 48 ropes now.
It's wrapped, exactly, right? And I'm looking at that going, wait a second. Turn it around. And
it's probably better for the rope because it doesn't...
Well, there's no tension on the rope.
It doesn't kink
just
it.
like you would take out the chain on the rope.
But they don't get tangled because the handles are together and they can't get twined around each other, right? And just something so simple.
Seventh patent.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I'm stealing that.
That's my gift to the community, right?
We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to get in trouble here because we can't end this podcast on time. Sir, you're amazing. Thank you.
Which one are we doing? We'll
do both. Yeah, we'll hug. We're going to have a group hug.
Appreciate you.
Triple kiss.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.